I'm joined once again by Khalil Rountree, who's coming off a highlight reel finish over Gokhan Saki this past weekend at UFC 226. Khalil, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Just hanging out at the airport. I'm on my way to Brazil, man.
Awesome. What brings you down to Brazil?
Some training, go see my girlfriend, and just just kind of let loose a little bit. But everything's been busy since the fight, so I thought I'd, take a little trip out of the country to, just to like celebrate a little bit.
No, it's well-deserved, man. And what a finish that was at UFC 226. And we'll talk about that in a second. But I wanted to say, going into the fight, we did two interviews. We did one, back when I was at home, and then one in person during media day. You seemed really relaxed heading into that fight, and it certainly showed in the matchup. Do you feel like you were more relaxed for this fight than some of the other ones you've had?
No, it was actually complete opposite. So
Oh,
like
really?
for this
Okay.
fight, yeah. So for this fight, I was really nervous. Just not nervous of the fight itself, but just like I was coming home back to Vegas, like listening to the media and everything else like that. Just like there was a lot of pressure from the outside, and as much as I tried to block it out and ignore it, it's like those thoughts are still in my head. So I was like kind of fighting against pressure, the underdog, like all of these things that it like mentally I was fighting against, not just training and everything else that we go through. So yeah, I was just nervous because I knew that I could perform. I know what I'm capable of, but this time it was a lot more than just fighting against a person. I felt like a lot of the odds were just stacked against me. So I was really nervous, and I did my best to stay calm. So I'm glad that it played out that way.
Yeah, and it certainly played out great. You get that knockout victory over a really high level kickboxer in Saki. Could that fight have gone any better in your opinion? Getting a quick finish and getting to enjoy your night a little bit earlier.
You know what? No, I think the fight went perfectly. Um, I got to move around a little bit, just kind of like find how I felt. Every time stepping in that cage, it's like a new, it's like, oh, I remember what it's like to be here again. So, for me to go out there and be able to get a first round finish was perfect. Um, and I got out of there safe, no injuries, everything like that. So it can't go any better than that, man.
And a lot of people have to eat crow on this. I saw a lot of people picking Saki. When we did our interview, you had that quote about, no one has ever been hit as hard as you would be hitting him in this fight. And people were laughing at that, and they're saying, well, what is this guy talking about? He's fought all these kickboxers, and all these people had to backtrack after that happened. Like, do you take a bit of satisfaction in that a lot of people were counting you out?
Um, you know what? It's like I don't really take satisfaction in it. I'm more just like that's kind of like why my natural reaction after was just like I kind of like shoulder shrugged a little bit. You know what I mean? Because these are all of the things that I've been fighting against, and so it's not like I proved you guys wrong. I'm so excited. I'm just like, dude, like I kind of had to shake it off. Like I told you, like in my mind, that's like kind of like I was doing that little shoulder thing in my mind. I'm just like, I told you guys, like, and everybody counted me out. Like, what am I supposed to like be bursting with excitement? Like, no, I told you guys. Like, I believed in myself when nobody else wanted to believe in me.
So how did you celebrate after that win? Because again, there was a lot of pressure going into this one. I'm sure it was nice to, kind of let loose a little bit just with everything that was going into this fight.
Yeah, so I haven't celebrated yet. Like right now, I'm at the airport, like headed out. This is like the day one, not even day one, because I haven't landed in Brazil yet. So like as soon as I get to Brazil, that's kind of where I think I'll be able to let loose.
What motivates you every day to get in there and train? What do you want people to know about you as a fighter that maybe we don't see?
I think the biggest thing that's motivated me has been winning. It feels really good to win. It feels really good to go in there and get my hand raised. So that's really the most important thing right now, which is why I'm just going to like continue training. Even though I'm headed out of the country, like I'm still going to train and do everything that I need to do so that I can produce the same result. So that I want the fans to be able to watch my fights and expect consistency.
I saw that you're back on social media on Instagram. Is this going to be a permanent thing, or are you going to go back into hiding after a few weeks?
I mean, it's going to last definitely more than a few weeks. um, but yeah, I plan on it to be permanent.
Okay, that's great. And you mentioned going to Brazil. Are you going to be training in any gyms out there? What's sort of the plan, and how long are you going to be out there?
Just a few weeks for now, and then I have some friends out there at different gyms, but I plan to just really scope it out and see how the training is out there. Um, so nothing solid yet, but just to go out there and check out the training, and if I like it, then I'll prolong my stay. And if it's not for me, then I know that I've got a few places back here at home.
That's great. Any idea when you want to return to the cage?
Definitely within the next few months, because like I said, with winning and consistency being on my mind, that requires training too, and yeah, I like to continue to develop. I don't want to go in there and ride the hype train and then you know what I mean, end up not being able to perform. That's kind of one of the biggest upsets for me as an athlete is seeing guys that I think are going to really like flourish, right? Because I end up buying into the hype, and then they go out there and put on like just like a crap performance. I'm like, maybe it's just a lack of training and experience, and you know what I mean. So I just want to make sure that I'm fully backed up in certain areas, especially just like jujitsu, man. Like that's such a solid, like it's such a complex game where it's like the learning never stops. You know what I mean? And being a striker, I do train everything, but being a striker, I would love to even out my game and be just as deadly on the ground as I am on the feet.
I love it. Any opponents you want to fight, or are you just going to leave that up to your management?
You know what? That's definitely a manager's choice. Once I get involved in it, then I feel like it just like my ego gets involved and just like, oh, just me being the fighter, like I just want to focus on training. I trust that the matchmakers, I trust that my managers and everything know what they're doing, and I'm willing to accept anything. I'm that like after my post fight speech, I'm like I'm here, like I'm not going anywhere. I'm here. I'm training. I'm doing my job, and so everybody else, they're gonna do theirs too, and whoever they match me up with next, it'll be good.
Obviously, what happened at 226, a lot of people are talking about is Brock Lesnar, coming back, storming the cage after the fight. What was your reaction when you saw that? Because a lot of people were turned off by it, saying it was pro wrestling. What did you think?
My jaw dropped just by how it went about. Like I don't mind that DC's fighting Brock Lesnar. I understand that it's a huge fight and that so many people are going to tune into it. Everybody wants to see it happen. you know. So I didn't get too like, oh, WWE about it because that's the part of the business that I do understand and I'm trying to grow at because I realize like you got to have some type of, charisma or something to really sell a fight to get people to watch. And yeah, so for me, like I was just like, okay, I see what they're doing. I see what they're doing. That was kind of my thing. I see what they're doing. Um, do I think that it's like am I a fan of it? Nah, not really. I think that there's different ways to go about it. If we're promoting mixed martial arts, you get me. But if we're just promoting like fighting and entertainment, then cool. Like I think it was like, you know, nail on the head. No better way to promote entertainment and fighting than having two guys, go after it in the cage after a fight.
Is there any plans with CAA, your management group, to do anything, outside the cage? Because that's obviously a nice backer in terms of the opportunities you could have outside the octagon.
Yeah, so there's no plan set in stone right now, but we have the what's that thing called? Like the spider web of ID. When things start to build up in my fight career, then we'll start picking them.
Excellent. Well, Khalil, I want to thank you so much for the time, especially as you board this flight. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you have any sponsors or shout outs, the floor is yours, sir.
So social media, you can find me at Khalil Rountree on Instagram. So just how my name is spelled, and then Twitter is war underscore Khalil, and Facebook, everything's just my name. Keep it simple. And yeah, no sponsors, but family, friends, anybody who's supporting me, thank you. And I plan to do more success in the future.